Hi, everyone. I'm Tanya Tsikhanowski, and this is the Highly Jewish Podcast in association with Joyce. Today, I have my very dear friend, Amanda Markowitz, on for our first episode, and I'll let her introduce herself, but she's a very big deal as a personal note, and I say this all the time, but people don't know this story, and I think it's important. I've always been a gay activist, but I never thought that I would have a reason to be a Jewish one, and she's the reason that I became one. When I started seeing her posts and her outspokenness and her just visibility walking around LA, I mean, as a mom, and, you know, there's a lot of ways that she could be a target. And she, before any of these influencers really became visible, I think that she was really one of the first to do it. And it gave me a lot of the courage and strength to start talking. And so that's why I wanted her to be my first guest. And so we'll take you on this little coffee date today with us. So hope you enjoy it. But yeah, Amanda, please.
That's so nice.
Yeah, well, it's true though. I've always said that.
I remember our coffee date that we had at Jones.
Yep.
Remember?
Yep.
And we talked all about this, and you were like, "I want to do more. I want to do more." And
exactly.
I was like, "Let's figure it out." So I'm so proud of you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Look at what you've done. You're doing amazing things. You're making such a difference. And
thank you. I appreciate it.
I love it, and I think it's really nice because we grew up together. Known you since we were like 12.
Yeah, we went to Brentwood. So we were both born and raised in Los Angeles. So for us, we're OG people from LA. Nobody really thinks that. Everyone's a transplant. But no, we were from here. We went to Brentwood together, and we knew each other then, and we were always friendly, but we were never really in the same circles. And thankfully for social media, we were able to keep in touch. And, when I got to see what she was doing, I was so thank you for, reconnecting and just doing everything that you do, because it inspires me. And I'm not a parent yet, right? And I'd like to be. And so when I think about the future and I think about raising kids and, the fact that I'd like to do that in LA, you're doing that now. Do you want to talk a little bit about your experiences as being a mom, especially now, and the choices you've had to make as such, given the climate?
Okay. Yes, as you said, I am Amanda Markowitz. I'm from Los Angeles. I am an actor, a producer, and now, most importantly to me, a pro-Jewish, pro-Israel activist, speaker, thought leader. And that is so important to me and to who we are. And I think that everyone should be speaking out. I am the very proud granddaughter of 4 Holocaust survivors. My husband is also the grandchild of 4 Holocaust survivors. So our 3 daughters are the great-grandchildren of 8 Holocaust survivors. 6 out of the 8 were at Auschwitz. So they are truly miracles. And I think that's why this work is so important to me. Being a mom is such a privilege, but it also it comes with a lot of responsibility. Obviously, not only their basic needs, but shaping them into the people they are. And today, really shaping them into the Jewish women that they will become is something incredibly important to me. I think that that's a real obligation right now. I'm privileged, but an obligation, especially with where they come from and their ancestry.
And how old are they right now?
So I have Hazel just turned 7, Lily's 4.5, and Izzy is 10 months. Yeah, 3 little girls, hands full, but really raising them to be proud Jewish women. And this was always important to me before October 7th. I waited a while to have kids. I was married for like 6 years before, and I'd been with my husband already 6 years. So I waited a little while to have kids, which is nice because we had all that time without children. But I was acting and producing at the time and just felt like it was gonna impact my career and I wasn't going to be able to, grow as an actor. And it's so silly in retrospect because all it's done is grown my life and enriched my life and my character and who I am at my core so much. And now everything's really changed post October 7th in how I parent.
Was it like an instant decision for you? Like October 7th happened and you were like, all right, I'm going to speak about it. Did you have to consult anyone, like, or your agent at the time to even, talk about how it's going to affect your career?
So before October 7th, I was already very closely involved with the Holocaust Museum LA, and I was speaking in classrooms. I was very involved there, and that was already something I was doing. So I was already speaking. But after October 7th, I remember the first photo I posted was a photo of me standing outside Auschwitz, wrapped in an Israeli flag, just looking in. And it's so powerful to me. And that's the image I chose to share, not the crazy, horrific, disgusting footage that was going around. I shared that. And I think that Shai Davide pointed that out to me. And I had forgotten that was the first post I did. And it was an interesting conversation because I think that was my instinct to share that. Mm-hmm. To remember who we are at our core, to remember where we came from, and know how important Israel is for us. There wasn't an Israel when the Holocaust happened, in Israel as we know it today.
Right.
And we didn't have an army. And so Israel has always been really important to my family. I grew up in a very Zionist household. And that's obviously, we went through what we went through with the Holocaust, and we need Israel. And so the descendant, me, of 4 Holocaust survivors, standing outside Auschwitz, a free woman, I was able to enter and exit a free woman, which my family members did not have that privilege. Yeah. But to be there wrapped in the Israeli flag, safely wrapped in the Israeli flag, is something so beautiful and just gives me that hope. It's the light in the darkness for me. Yeah. And I wanted to remind people of that.
I had a similar experience when I went to Auschwitz. I didn't wear the Israeli flag, but I was, wearing a Jewish star, and I felt so crazy in such a beautiful way. Like, we won, because I'm here now, and I'm standing here, and this place is memorialized and we'll always remember, but I'm still here. Exactly. So we won. So I totally understand.
Yeah, I went on the March of Living with my husband, and I came back pregnant. If that's not the biggest FU.
That is the most Jewish thing. Baruch Hashem, that is the most Jewish thing I have ever heard. Wow, I
can't. When Auschwitz came back pregnant,
Oh,
it was time to make that decision.
Mazel tov. Good job, Andy.
Yeah, my first child.
Oh my God.
My first miracle, our first miracle.
That's such a good story.
I mean, talk about life.
Yeah. I mean, Jews too, we always celebrate.
That's who we are.
We always bring out the light in the worst of times. That's what we're supposed to do. That's why there were so many weddings in the forests and in the camps, and
people were having babies and getting married and living. I mean, it was really horrible and difficult, obviously, but that's who we are. Yeah. And nothing's going to stop that. We are a light in the darkness. We choose life always. And so
yeah, exactly.
That's
so when did you decide to start talking to your kids about it? Because I mean, for me, when I think about, my parents came from the USSR. Most of my family was killed in Babi Yar. I don't really have that many Holocaust survivors in my family, and it's when I think about I don't really remember when the conversations began. They were just sort of always there. And I guess whenever I started being able to speak, or I always say this, but when I learned the Shema, when I was, I don't even know how old I was, but we say it to Israel, right?
Yeah,
so like the words are there. So for me, being a Zionist and being a Jew, they're one and the same thing. And I
agree.
I think, probably the same for your parents and how they raised you, but it was sort of, it was like a given, like the way that we learned to walk. I don't remember when we did it, but
I don't remember not knowing about the Holocaust. My grandpa had a number on his arm. It was something that was always talked about. They were surrounded by other Holocaust survivors. That was their community. It was just something in my life. Yeah. I don't remember not knowing about the Holocaust. I didn't have to learn about it.
Yeah. Exactly.
My grandparents always spoke in my schools. So it wasn't something I had to learn about. And I knew one day I'd have to teach my children about it, because unfortunately, my grandparents are no longer around to share firsthand stories.
So sorry.
So I have an obligation to be that voice.
Yep.
And I knew the day would come where I would have to tell my own children about where they came from. And I didn't know when. My kids are really young, so I wasn't sure when that would happen. And then a couple weeks ago, actually, I was driving my older two to school, and I had just given them these calendars for Hanukkah that were these Jewish calendars. There are dogs on them, and every month has a different dog. They were I was made aware of them through the company that makes them, and they're so cute and adorable and amazing. I have to link them.
Yes, definitely.
But I gave these to my daughters, and so when they were going through them in the car, they were so excited to have their calendars. They went through them and saw different days, different Jewish holidays, and my daughter, just in the back seat, I hear her go, "Mommy, what's International Holocaust Remembrance Day?"
Just out of nowhere, she just
goes, because she's reading it on the calendar.
Oh my God.
And I was like, stopped in my tracks. And we'll continue after our coffee order.
What are you going to want?
Hello, my name is Bella. Can I get your name?
Yeah, it's Tanya.
Do I want
What can I get for you?
matcha or latte?
One moment.
What are you getting?
Let me
Okay,
know
I'll
when
give
you're
you.
ready.
Okay, I'm ready now for mine. So this is Maddie's order.
Can I get for you?
My girlfriend has like the coolest order. Right? Can I get an iced doppio with blonde espresso?
What's happening?
Can I get it in a grande cup? And
Okay.
can I have it with brown sugar cold foam and like an extra amount of that?
What just happened?
I know. Don't ask. It's great. It's literally just like espresso over ice.
Wait, what
in a
size did
cup.
you order? But
You
in a
said
grande,
brown
a
sugar
tall and a
It's a
grande?
tall and grande. I'm sorry. What did you say?
You said brown sugar foam?
Yes, please.
Okay, anything else for you?
Yes. 1 second.
I'm gonna get a grande matcha latte with non-fat milk.
And
No, not. They're gonna do soy. A grande iced matcha latte
a grande iced matcha latte
with soy.
with soy.
Grande iced matcha
With soy milk, please.
with soy milk. Anything else for you?
I want the brown foam.
And the brown sugar cold foam on top of that.
Can they do easy ice?
And brown sugar cold foam. Does everything look correct on the screen?
Yeah.
Yes, could you also just do easy ice for the matcha?
You got it. Anything else for you?
No, that's it. Thank you so
We'll see
much.
you
I know
in
that
a
was
moment.
complicated. All right.
I mean, yours was complicated.
Listen, I know, but it's actually great. It's literally just iced. So a doppio is like 2 shots of espresso. You have it iced, right? And we get it with blonde espresso because I guess that's the better espresso. I have no idea. But she said
I'm
blonde.
really I do this. I question my decisions constantly.
I mean, what's your sign?
Cancer.
Oh, that makes
But
sense.
I get very emotional.
1170.
Well, good.
Can I
Yeah.
ask you a quick question? Then you can tap.
Thank you.
But I was debating if I wanted a nice coffee, and then I was like, you know what?
I'm always debating what
I don't know if I want a matcha or coffee matcha.
the second I order, I wish I ordered the other thing.
I always
Every time.
I know.
Every time. And it's always like
Order
tastes
regret.
better when
It's
the
horrible.
other person. Yeah.
So I have two things. One, I'm going to go back to the story, and then there's something else I want to say after,
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't finish something else to say.
We're talking about your daughter asking.
I'll wait till this closes,
Okay.
or can I talk while it's open?
Yeah, talk.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so she asked me what's International Holocaust Remembrance Day, and I don't know if you want this in there first, but first, she asked me what's Martin Luther King Junior Day.
Okay.
And I said, this is a holiday you learned about last year in school. And she's like, oh yeah. And I was like, that, and I told her again all about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and what an amazing man he is. And it's actually his birthday today. So. I talked about how there were people who weren't kind to black people, and they had to have different water fountains, and they had to sit differently on the bus,
So horrible.
and how horrible it was. And I said, it actually was the same with Jewish people, and the signs didn't just say no black people allowed, it said no Jewish people allowed. So I said, the Jewish people and the black people have a really important connection, and we fought for rights together.
Yep.
And I explained that to her, and it was this really special moment of trying to instill that connection among communities across bridges from such a young age. And then she asked me, what's International Holocaust Remembrance Day? And I said, okay, remember you just asked me about this. There are people that weren't kind to Jewish people. And I said, you are actually what is called, okay, I'm going to go back. She asked me about International Holocaust Remembrance Day. And I said, your great-grandparents are called Holocaust survivors. And you are miracles because all 8 of your great-grandparents are Holocaust survivors. Definitely. I don't know many people like that in the world. So you guys are miracles. And they thought that was so great. And they were laughing and smiling. And I said, so there was a man named Hitler. He was a really evil man and he didn't like Jewish people. And it was similar to Haman.
No, we had the... Thank you.
I said it was similar to Haman in the Purim story because they know the Purim story, so I was able to relate it to the Purim story.
My favorite story growing up too.
So I told him the story of Hitler through the story of Haman in the Purim story, and ultimately in the end, I told him that yes, there were people who were killed, and it was really difficult for the Jewish people. In the end, the Jewish people thrived and we survived, and that's why we're here, and that it's amazing that they have this history. And then I heard my 7-year-old whisper to my 4-year-old in the back seat, and that's why it's so important to be Jewish. And it was
that would have made me cry.
It made me cry. I was sitting in the front just crying, driving to school, because it's these little moments that make you realize, oh, okay, I'm doing something right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You too. Have a great day.
And it's, oh, look, smile.
I love that.
So it's really difficult parenting in the world right now with
Did they
antisemitism.
Ever seem, like, scared when you were talking about it, or like?
No, my kids are very curious. They don't really get scared about that kind of stuff.
That's thanks to you, I think, honestly.
Yeah, I think that they're really brave in that regard, and they have such a strong sense of Judaism and pride and Zionism. They're little Zionists. I have Israeli flags all over my house. They've even said, like, someone asked what their mom does, and my 4-year-old said, my mom works for Israel. And I was like, I wish. Like,
that would be
cutest thing. Income would be.
Yeah, I know, but that's 7,000 that everyone talks about.
That sounds great.
You know,
not me.
So funny. Oh my god.
But yeah, I do not.
That is so funny.
I just proudly do it on the behalf of our people.
And your grandparents.
And my grandparents in their honor, and those we lost. And so, yeah, but I wanted to go back because you asked me about after October 7th and what that did in terms of like my agent and things like that.
Yeah.
So after I noticed that, nobody was caring, like my entire group of people in the entertainment industry didn't say anything, and it was silent. So I just kept speaking out, and I wrote how I felt. I'd write, and suddenly those posts were being shared so many times, and people were calling me, my friend in another country is sharing your stuff is going all over, and it made me realize, hey, my words are resonating, and so other people are feeling this way. And
absolutely.
It's not about the likes, the followers, the shares. It's not about that in terms of for vanity purposes. For me, it's a sign of, wow, what I said resonated with someone, and I'm not alone, and maybe they feel less alone now.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
a beautiful thing for humanity.
Yeah.
So to me, when I see a post get 3 million views, I'm not like, oh, look at me, I got 3 million views. It's like, wow, this one sentence I wrote resonated with this many people and made an impact on people. And that is an indescribable feeling of connectedness.
Yeah.
So to me, it meant a lot. And I realized that, okay, this is giving me so much more purpose. This is what I was brought here to do. I am living in history. We are in a pivotal moment of time. We've seen what happens when the world stands by silently. I refuse to be silent. This is my moment to speak out and use my voice. So I changed my platform, and it turned into this. And I had just signed with a new agent, actually, not long before. And I remember I reached out to her and I said, hey, I hope it's okay that I'm doing this on my profile. I know you just signed me and you didn't expect this to be my platform. And she said, don't stop.
I love that.
She said, you don't have to be worried. You don't have to apologize. You don't need to stop what you're doing. You need to keep doing it more and more.
That's so rare.
And she would comment on my stuff and still does. She messages me and checks in on me. She
Amazing.
has been unreal. And then I found out she's a devout Christian. And God bless the Christian community and our allies. And so that meant so much to me.
That's amazing, because that is so not the story that you hear.
No, it's not.
It's always like, they dropped me, they put a gag order on me, they won't let me do this, like all these guardrails and red tape, and for you to be in a position where you're getting supported by your team is huge. So
I mean, I certainly noticed that the people that casting offices calling me in were primarily Jewish. I don't know if that was.
I mean, listen.
I mean, interesting. But I also lost a lot of friends.
Oh yeah, I mean that's been such a wild ride.
Yeah,
the people that have exited my life is.
And they see my posts. I know they see my posts. I can see that them seeing my posts.
Exactly.
So I know you're seeing how hurt I am. I know you're seeing what's happening. I know you know I have family in Israel. And you're choosing not to say anything.
Or not even.
But then your eyes are on Rafa, so.
I mean, exactly. Let's put all the eyes on. And then be completely silent now that Iran is going through what it's going through. But I mean, it makes sense, because Iran was paying all these idiots to protest for, Hamas. And now they're the ones that are in trouble, so they're not paying anybody else to protest against them. And so, of course, everything is silent. It's pretty crazy.
I just think they're confused.
I mean.
They see Israel standing with Iran, and they're like, wait, but I thought they're the bad guy and they're the bad evil oppressors that I can't support. So now how do I support Iran when there's an Israeli flag alongside an Iranian flag?
But it's crazy though. I'm getting messages from Persian Muslims abroad asking and saying, like, we pray every day that Netanyahu will do something. And it's like, people in the US really don't understand that Israel can quite literally save the world. I mean, it did already by bombing the nuclear sites in Iran. I mean, people don't understand that, like, it
just doesn't affect their daily lives.
Yeah, they're not. Well, neither does Palestine or whatever Palestine is. It doesn't affect their daily lives, but they made it their entire identity. Every gay event I've been to has been like covered in keffiyehs instead of rainbow flags. It has become like literally our sexuality now is Hamas. It is the most insane.
Have you seen it die down a little bit, or it's still there?
No, it's like watermelons is like the new branding. I mean, on every image, it'll be there. There's like a subtlety and a touch of it in everything.
And they just have no idea about
anything.
LGBTQ rights in Israel versus
at all.
Anywhere
no, they call it fake, or they just, and it's nuts, because like literally in Israel they grant asylum to residents in Gaza that have been persecuted for being gay. Like, that has happened. There have been so many parts within the Palestinian territories where people have fled and Israel has granted them asylum because they would otherwise be thrown off the building. But it's okay. It's cooler to hate Jews. That's really what it's about. And that's what I think, like, I know that, like, for me, I feel like every Jew needs to see the Holocaust Museum. Before I send someone that hates me to it, I want to send the Jews that need to be reminded of our history. Like, for you were born just knowing it, and me too. And maybe there's a disconnect.
It's different for our American Jews, I think, that have been here for, I don't want to speak, I'm not going to blanket statement, but I think there is a difference when you've been in America for generations versus having more recently immigrated to America.
Yeah,
I do think there's a little bit of a difference. Not for everyone, but I do.
Yeah, I mean, it's natural for us. I mean, look, like every other sentence from my mom was talking about the old country and what she's lost, and that our grandparents are refugees, and so I'm assuming, seeing the numbers on your grandparents' arm was also like a given. So my
grandma didn't just say never again. She said never again, but don't be naive.
My dad said it's always here. People hate Jews, period.
Yeah, and it's just been sitting there, and I mean, sometimes not so dormantly, but for the most part, it's been pretty dormant. And then October 7th happens, and it like weirdly creates an excuse to just have all the anti-Semitism come out and explode all over the world. And so to me, if you're going to say anti-Zionism isn't anti-Semitism, then I need you to explain why anti-Semitism rose 400% in the diaspora because of something that happened in Israel. Yeah. If that is not a direct link showing that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy too, because I remember we were this was like actually a really funny story. So Gay Pride Month is June, right? And we have Gay Pride parades and festivals and whatnot. And so this is a Saturday. It's the day of the festival, and at night you have different events. And so during the day, I wore a blue shirt that said Israel on it. And so obviously, like, that day, okay, people will see that I'm a Zionist, and will see that, you know, it's not just I'm a Jew, I'm clearly a Zionist, right? Well, so
if you're wearing shorts and show your leg tattoo, then it's pretty clear.
Clearly, yes.
I mean, you got the flag on the leg.
Yes, on the leg, yeah, absolutely, I do. I did that on purpose, for sure. But at this point, I had pants on, right? And so, like, you couldn't see. But this was crazy. So I remember at the time my girlfriend and I had just started dating, and she had said, like, okay, like at night when we go out, you know, we're going with a big group of people, you know, some people have expressed some concerns for safety. We're all going to be wearing our Magen Davids, but like, let's not wear like a shirt that says Israel. Let's like not politicize anything tonight. And for safety, I certainly like understood that. You know, we were going with a group of a bunch of women. I didn't want to endanger anybody, that's so sad.
In IDF uniform,
you know, right? I should do that. Oh my God, that's actually smart. I'm gonna do that next. But so you know, but like we all of us. What is it? It's powering off.
Why?
I don't know why.
Too hot.
Oh wow.
I'm too hot.
Let's go in these. That is hilarious. Okay.
For the record,
that's the
camera got too hot.
Amanda unfortunately made the camera overheat. That's hilarious. Okay. Well, this is what happens when you drive around sunny Los Angeles in January. It's that hot. I mean, it is actually. It is 78 degrees outside.
3 children and I still got it.
Oh my God, I'm dying. All right, we're back. All right, let's cool down a little bit. Oh. Wow, that's so funny. Okay, so I don't remember what we. Okay, so yeah, so this is.
We took a detour. And
we did.
It.
Oh my God. Okay, so it was Gay Pride. I'm with a bunch of girls in but I will do that next time. I will absolutely do that next time. I need to buy one because I love I really wish I would have served in the IDF. I'm too old now, but I really wish I could have way back when. But anyway, so I didn't wear my Israel shirt at night. Only this, right? And so this just means I'm a Jew. It has nothing to do with Israel, literally nothing. And so to your point, I was with, I don't know, 6 other women. 4 of them were wearing this Jewish star.
Okay.
And we had people start yelling at us and call us genocidal Nazis and baby killers. And that were...
So just anti-Zionism.
Yeah, I mean, like, we were labeled Nazis for wearing a Jewish star. It had nothing to do with Israel. It's truly just hating Jews. And I remember being told that my whole life. My dad would always say that to me, and I would always tell him, like, stop, like, leave the old country already. Like, you're here now. You came to the place that has given you freedom and safety. You don't have to worry about it anymore. It's, you know, the Holocaust is over.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you, because people say this to me, like, why are you still talking about the Holocaust? People are over it. Like, shouldn't we talk about this in other ways? People don't want to keep talking about the Holocaust. I've heard this from within our community as well. Sure. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think that we're doing ourselves a disservice if we bring everything back to that, because it's almost ignoring what's happening today.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I do think that there is an importance to remember that, like, right now we're going through our own version of people wanting to wipe us out. We're just more equipped to deal with it. You know, like imagine if we didn't have an Israel, and last year or the year before when they had the soccer game and a bunch of Jews were getting hunted in the street, and thanks to Netanyahu, they were able to send a plane and rescue them. If Israel didn't exist, would that have happened? No. Who would have rescued those Jews? No one. How would we be treated globally without Israel? Like, people don't realize that Israel's existence keeps us safe because people are afraid of Netanyahu. And again, like, not to say, like, I'm not Israeli, so I don't feel like I have the right to judge what's happening within Israel with their government. I leave that up to Israelis. My job is to support the alliance with America and Israel, and to say that Israel has a right to exist. I think it's insane that people even think that they can talk.
Listen,
like, that's even a question.
People can criticize their government.
Exactly.
I have zero issues with that.
But nobody questions their existence.
They should question governments. They should criticize governments. People should do that. But that doesn't mean a country and its citizens don't have a right to exist. You don't have to like who's leading the country. I don't question, like, France. I mean, I can sit here and not like Macron, but I'm not like, hey, well, France maybe should just not exist anymore. Sorry. Like, and I hate France, but I'm cool with Frenchmen. Trump, okay? There are people who don't like Trump. That doesn't mean America shouldn't exist.
Right, exactly. The thing that's terrible is that, so for me, I know that we're safer because of Israel. I know that we're safer because of Netanyahu. And so at this current moment, and so it's pretty sad that, you know, I feel like we have to be reminded of the Holocaust, because I think that it's important to know where things could go if we didn't have the safeguards we have in place now. So for me, I think that it's important to mention the Holocaust in how it connects to present day, which it does. Without the Holocaust, unfortunately, Israel would not have been established when it was, and we wouldn't have the IDF, we wouldn't have all of the things that we have now that are preventing us from having another Holocaust. But I think what's important is to somehow let people really understand that it's the ideology that's still prevalent that would put us into another Holocaust if we didn't have Israel to protect us. Like, I think that's what's important, because if we didn't have it, like, we're like 2 stops away from being sent over to gas chambers, and people don't think that. But if we're seeing what happened on campuses, that's what happened in Germany. People were starting to spread anti-Semitism on campus.
People will say we're in 1939 Germany. I'm like, no, we're in like 1930.
Right,
so
literally. We have time, thank God.
Except social media, this is spreading way faster than it could have ever spread during that time.
Exactly. And so I do feel that in that way, we have a disadvantage with our numbers, because there's so many more other people than there are Jews in this world. But I do
That's
think
why we have to be grateful for our allies who are speaking
absolutely
very vocally.
1000%. And I do think it's important to recognize that social media is a tool that we can use to our advantage, because we don't have the numbers in terms of the people, but we can in terms of the views. We can, you know, start to compete in terms of the reach.
I just think we're playing catch up.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, we were not prepared from a strategy standpoint, like a PR strategy.
Yeah.
Like, we are catching up now, and we have been catching up, and we're not caught up. So we have to find a way to have much more united messaging, and just ways of reaching more people in an impactful way. People don't know, and then a lot of people who don't know don't want to speak about things because they don't know, and they don't want to say the wrong thing. And to those people, I say, just share our stuff, or share stuff from people you agree with.
You know, when you realize that, like, everybody has their own path that they're walking, their own background, their own religion, their own creed, and they have to be proud of who they are first. You know, it's like that same concept of you can't love anyone if you don't love yourself. So it's like, if you can't be proud of who you are, how can you respect someone else for being who they are? And I say a big reason why I always, you know, supported every other race and fought for equal rights, and always will, and think that equal rights are, you know, the most important thing. It's because I would never want someone to put me down over being a Jew. So why would I ever be okay with putting you down because you're black or green or Asian or whatever you are? Why would I ever want to put you down for that? If anything, I want to celebrate who you are, and as long as who you are doesn't try to erase me.
Exactly.
You know,
but also I think even within the Jewish community, there's a lot that we haven't been taught about our diversity, and I think that's so important too. And I'm making a very conscious effort to make sure my children are taught that. And we talk about how there are Jews of every skin color. And that was a conversation I had yesterday with my daughter because we were reading a book about different colors of skin. And she asked me. And I took that moment to really explain there are Jews all over the world. There are Jews in Africa. I went through everything. And she said, are there Jews in Russia? I said, yes, there are Jews in Russia. And she asked me about all these different countries. And it made me realize, wow, like I have this responsibility to shape this narrative and create children and a generation that's more knowledgeable than even I was.
Yeah.
And
that's a big responsibility.
It's a cool responsibility.
Yeah.
It's a cool responsibility to raise more accepting humans who are also proud to be Jewish, but can build bridges themselves and find allies and figure out a way to navigate the world with humanity. That's the greatest gift I can give them.
Absolutely.
And so that's my goal.
Well, I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this. Let's
Of
grab
course.
some.
That sounds-